I think it is all about symbolism at that point. You're absolutely correct. The last time the Paris recalled the ambassador from Italy was in 1940, so very different time. France and Italy are both founding nations and founding member of the European Union. The two countries are well intertwined when it comes to economic policies. This is really about getting that fight at the symbolism, like a symbol fight for all domestic political gain. I think that's what is at stake right now.
And let's go back to the cause of this. Why would these Italian officials choose to side with France's opposition? What's the root of this particular move?
So the Italian government, the current government, was elected in March 2018. At that time, the Five Star Movement won most of the vote, and then the Lega, which is the extreme right, and the northern part, led by Matteo Salvini, decided to form a joint government back in June. And at the head, the Prime Minister, Mr. Conte, has been ruling. Right away, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, established himself as an internationalist, a pro-European leader, and he has not shied away in his opposition towards nationalism and those forces. I think it was very clear in his speeches and his address during the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, where he talks about it. That's one side. On the other side, there's been tension between Paris and Rome on migration issues. So back over the summer, there is this boat full of migrants that was rejected by the Italian government, the Aquarius. Emmanuel Macron criticized the Italian government for not doing this, but yet the French government refused to welcome those migrants. And at that point, the tension began to escalate around those migration. Now, the other side of it, with the Vice Prime Minister, Di Maio, it is as well for them a political gain, in a sense where the European elections for the European Parliament are upcoming in May 2019, and both parties and both individuals, Salvini and Di Maio, are kind of already campaigning with different platforms and different objectives.
And speaking of platforms, this battle isn't just between France and Italy. We're talking about a battle between these establishment and non-establishment movements in Europe. How does it reflect this ideological divide in Europe currently and the fragility of the unity of the EU?
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying the fragility of the unity of the EU. I think the current negotiation on Brexit demonstrates that the European Union is very much united. Right now, it's really, they're very clear on defending the foundation of the European Union being the common market, the euro, and other elements and other normative and value aspects. This has been, at the heart, and the Brexit negotiation proves it. So I don't think we should talk about the demise or disintegration of the EU at that point. What we're seeing is with the emergence of this populist leader, either on the right or on the left, there has been some tension trying to address those elements. They are trying to deflect the domestic problems. I mean, the European Commission just downgraded their forecast for economic growth in Italy to 0.2% for 2019. They are in technical recession because the last 2 quarters they've seen recession in Italy. So, thinking and looking at the outside, identifying an enemy that can kind of divest, the real problem at home. This has been a common trend throughout the EU. It could be in Poland, Czech Republic, Italy now.